On today's show, Bird Box making some lofty claims. We are going to get a backstory on J.R.R. Tolkien. And finally, why is this movie in the teases? Who put Fantastic Beasts and had my whole day's ruined? Welcome to Collider Movie Talk. This is the show. It is a Monday, and we welcome you. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mark. That is John Rocha. That is another Mark, the better Mark, Mark Reilly. It is a Monday. We are pre-taping this. Full disclosure, this episode was taped on Friday. And we are celebrating Martin Luther King Day, and in observance of that holiday, we are not in the studio on Monday. I'd be happy to do a show for you Monday. I'm probably doing one right now live from my new apartment that has a giant TV that's 10 inches bigger than Rocha's. That is neither here nor there. The reason why I'm letting you guys know that we pre-taped on Friday is because we're not going to have the full box office report, so I don't know what Glass did. However, I do have a box office scoop to report on this Friday/Monday, depending on when you are listening to me or you are watching me. And that is that the Dragon Ball Z movie opened Wednesday, and it made $7 million in a day.
Wow.
$7 million. So is it going to beat Glass for the weekend? Probably not, but I think it's interesting to note that, you know, people I'm close to love DBZ. They pounded it in my head. Still don't get the whole thing, but people love it, so $7 million. There you go.
Nice.
And now we move on to our first official story, which is also an added story that we did on this Friday afternoon. John Rocha sent me a text and an email, he claims, talking about Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them Part 3. Do we know the name of the movie? No. First one was Where to Find Them. Second one was The Crimes of Grindelwald. And now the third one is going to still be coming out. This is the third of, I believe, a purported fifth movies? Five movies franchise? But we're not going to get the third one for a little bit now. Production has been pushed back. The actors and production crew have been notified that they are not going to be starting when they originally thought they would, because they wanted to get the movie out for its typical November release date. 2020 doesn't look like it's going to happen. John Rocha, what are the reasons for the pushback? Is it having something to do with the quality of the first two films, with the box office receipts, or is this just some sort of scheduling conflict that was unavoidable?
I don't know. That last one made $650 million worldwide, so you know, you can argue that it made its money, but this could be a Brett Ratner X-Men Last Stand situation. We're like, yeah, it made a lot of money, but a lot of people didn't like the movie. So I think that's what you have here with this situation. People didn't like the way this second one came out. The first one wasn't that well received from the Potterverse fans anyway, so add this one. I think you add more kindling to this fire, and people are like, okay, let's wait till this fire dies down a little bit, take a little bit of break, work harder on the story, because that was the big complaint a lot of Potter fans had coming out of this movie, was the characters were underdeveloped, they didn't understand the decisions made by these characters, and they felt that it was a squandered opportunity all around. And listen, I have a special affinity for Harry Potter land, a Harry Potter world, so to me, this is a smart move by the studio. We hear the fans, we hear the criticism. Yes, we made the money, but we really want to focus on quality of the film as well. So we're going to take a little bit of time, you know, kind of, work on the story a little bit more and come out with a better product. And they already have to have been in soft pre-production now if they were going to release it and hit their time. So to me, it's smart to take that time to work on it.
Right, soft pre-production, Riley, we would assume that would include location scouting and wrangling schedules, getting talent set for when they may need to appear in front of the cameras. But I look at a push, and this push is from the summer to late fall, so it's not necessarily the biggest move back I've ever seen.
Right.
It does reek of script changes, though. It seems like they want to get something in shape to not just continue the franchise, but really wow people and get butts in seats that maybe they lost from Fantastic Beasts to Crimes of Grindelwald, or even from the Harry Potter movies into Fantastic Beasts. How do you read this?
Yeah, I think anytime a big studio film is pushed to, and that's the one thing I took off of the actual article, was that Warner Brothers lately has been giving these big blockbusters some time to breathe, some time to work on it. And that's what it sounds like, because if you take the fan reaction, the critic reactions from Crimes of Grindelwald, you might want to look at your story, you might want to look at your script. And I know it's J.K. Rowling. She's brilliant. I love her stuff. But from what I've heard, haven't seen the movie yet, because
Weren't you going like opening night? You and the lady were very excited. She's a big Harry Potter fan, as are you, and still have not seen it.
Still haven't seen it. When the reviews were so bad, we opted for other movies.
Don't listen to me. I don't, because I was not happy about it. But
and then it just Accio Leviosa. I mean, it just was gone. So we decided, we're going to see it. But I heard so many things, and I can track from Fantastic Beasts, which I enjoyed very much.
Yeah.
But I can track the fact that it moved and the fans didn't like this one. So I'm reading it that they're taking a little bit more time to massage the script. That's what it sounds like.
All right, well, what is going to be delayed more, the production of Fantastic Beasts 3 or Mark Reilly's viewing of Fantastic Beasts 2? He's already put it off for a couple months now, so we'll keep you guys posted when Reilly and his incredible lady finally get a chance to check it out. Well, we move on to our next story, but we're not moving that far away from the fantasy universe. Nay, we are neck deep in it now because there is going to be a J.R.R. Tolkien biopic. Yes, this has been reported as early back as 2013, I believe. Collider.com had a scoop on this, and now it's finally coming to fruition. The backstory of this writer, who obviously created the incredible Lord of the Rings franchise, the entire universe, Middle Earth, it's all thanks to this one guy. And this story is going to focus primarily on his formative years at college. I believe he went to Pembroke College, and then he was also a soldier in World War I. And so if that's the crux of this movie, it's going to be directed by Dome Karakowski, and it stars Nicholas Hoult as the legendary writer, John Rocha. J.R.R. Tolkien.
Yeah.
The font for this movie is incredible because it looks like it's another Lord of the Rings movie. It's not. It's just about the guy who did it. But what's cool about this is that it's going to be him and his circle of friends, and then that circle of friends, obviously, some go off to war. War certainly factors into Middle Earth, and so if you see how this man's ideas of what Middle Earth and what the Lord of the Rings, the Hobbit could be, maybe that's informed by his own friendships developed at Pembroke College and then ripped apart to some degree by the world events at the time.
Certainly possible. I mean, you look at the logline, mentions fellow outcasts, that kind of thing.
A fellowship.
And a fellowship, yes, you could say, and there you go. And so you have that influencing what inspired him to do, maybe inspired him to do The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. To me, it's interesting, because you're right, the font, Tolkien. The font is interesting. We just had these two Christopher Robin movies last year, and it seems like when you watch these people's lives, it seems to be better growing up to be British in a biopic. You just have these more eloquently interesting scenes in your life that you can draw upon. I can't wait till the J.K. Rowling biopic and a little Harry Potter kid walks by her in the subway and gives her the idea for the whole series. I mean, you just love these things that happen.
What happened to your head? I fell down. There's a scar.
There's a lightning scar.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just think I like the idea of this happening. Nicholas Hoult, fantastic actor, and we've seen him in a number of things happening now. I just hope it gets off the ground. And Lily Collins being a part of this as well. It's great to see that too. I'm excited for it, but I want it to be an actual, honest exploration of this guy's life and not one of those feel-good movies you can watch on an afternoon. I want something that really explores what happened in World War I, how it affected him, and also how it really affected the people around him. I don't want them to shortcut it and make it a feel-good, touchy-feely film. This man wrote some pretty interesting books that delved into the horrors of battle. And the pursuit of a ring and what it can do to you and affect you and change you, the pursuit of money in essence. So all of that is there. So I hope they do more of that with this.
Yeah, Riley, we're hearing comparisons to previous movies that have focused on the author of beloved works, such as Finding Neverland. I believe the guy who wrote Peter Pan, that's J.M. Barrie, and then obviously also Saving Mr. Banks, Tom Hanks playing Walt Disney, but also you have the formation of the Mary Poppins character here with such a beloved vault of mythology that this guy has created. Do you think that fans are going to go into this maybe wanting more of that actual substance than they're going to get? Because this is going to be about the guy's life. There's not going to be a lot of orcs and dwarves running around here with axes. I don't know if you're going to get any of that, but you are going to get this man's life.
Yeah, you're going to, and I echo Rocha's sentiments. I want to see the down and dirty. I want to see him in the war. I want to see his friends that might conjure to mind the fellowship that he's thinking, because I actually did, a lot of studying of Tolkien's life when we studied The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings in in high school. And the whole thing, he's in a foxhole during World War I and comes up with Bilbo Baggins. Because he's in this foxhole, he thinks of Hobbiton. He's in a small, confined space. And he wrote down, from what I understand, something in that foxhole, the first words of The Hobbit, which is a Hobbit and whatever it may be, I can't remember. But that's fascinating to me. I would love to see the juxtaposition of the war to his fantastical mind. Is he looking at the horrors of war and coming up with hobbits? Is he coming up with, orcs because he's fighting Germans? Is he the Fellowship, like you guys mentioned, because he's with some friends of his? I want to go into that. Is it more of a, really hardcore war biopic drama that then has moments of fancy that he drifts off and thinks of, and we maybe get little hints of the Fellowship, little hints of an orc, a hobbit, an elf, what have you? That might be interesting. I don't know what the direction they're taking. You can look at Saving Mr. Banks. You can look at Finding Neverland, Christopher Robin, all these different things. Not Christopher Robin, sorry, the other one.
Yeah, Goodbye, Christopher Robin.
Goodbye, Christopher Robin. Thank you. It'd be interesting to see, but this is the story that gets me excited. This is the one I want, with Nicholas Hoult, too. I mean, he's fantastic.
He's a great actor. I think he's going to knock it out of the park. The movie opens May 10th. It's a Fox Searchlight production, so it's not going to be a huge summer blockbuster, but it might be interesting to a lot of people out there, particularly if you are a fan of Middle-earth. That's just a different kind of human being. Somebody who can be in war, in a foxhole, there's stuff going on all around, and yet they're able to write and be creative. I was home for Christmas, did nothing for a week and a half, maybe wrote one joke. And I don't even think it's that funny. It's not going to be one of the ones you see in New York. It's just, I did nothing with my time, and then this guy just maximizing it in a foxhole. Hats off to you. All these many years later, Mr. Tolkien, I will see your movie May 10th.
There it is.
On May 10th. I'm not going to pull a Riley and say I'm going to see it May 10th and go see it in July. I'm going to go see it on time.
I don't understand what the problem. I mean, the movie wasn't critically good. I thought I did a favor to
if you
fans.
If you guys saw Star Wars Episode 9 before I did, and you said it is just not good, I'm still going to go see the movie.
Star Wars, yes. I mean, I don't care what the reviews will be. I'm going to go see that for myself, but... Crimes of Grindelwald, after a while, you're like, ooh.
Well, to be fair, Riley would go see the Star Wars movie, as he is the host of the Rule of Two podcast. Him and Mark Fernandez do a deep dive into a Star Wars topic every week. See, I gave you a nice little plug. I make fun of you, I give you a plug.
That's a great handoff. I'll take it.
What I do.
Nice plug.
I massage the back, and then I give you the Vulcan neck pinch. Move on to our next story, and that is the Lego Movie. The new Lego Movie. It's Lego Movie 2, the second part. That film is going to debut in February, and right now box office experts are tracking it at a domestic opening weekend of $45 to $55 million. That puts us right in range to tie the Lego Batman movie for its opening. Not the Lego Movie. The first movie did just south of $70 million in its opening weekend on its way to a giant haul. I believe it made $257 million was its domestic total. And so this film, you would hope that it could do the same numbers if it is of the quality of the first Lego Movie. Having said that, I thought the Lego Batman movie was terrific. Might be my favorite Lego movie, and that did not do what the first Lego Movie did. The Lego Batman movie's lifetime gross here in the States was $175 million. So that pales in comparison. And then the Lego Ninjago movie, not as well known of a property here, made about $60 million. The Lego Movie, now it's back to what the Lego films do. John Rocha is going to do what the original one did. I mean, this is already the tracking, and as we've seen, the tracking can start to ramp up once more marketing does, and I think that Warner Bros. Is going to put a lot of marketing into this movie, so maybe that pays off?
Maybe. I just don't feel the vibe around the people who watch movies and people I know who don't do what we do, that there's this excitement over this one. I think the first movie was kind of a surprise, a sleeper hit, made $69 million coming out of the gate for what you said, the $257 million it made overall. And to me, that spoke volumes to people being surprised by this and really enjoying the world. I don't think you sense that same enjoyment or vibe from this sequel, and maybe people have kind of moved on a little bit from the uniqueness of a Lego movie, having seen the Batman one, having seen the Ninjago one, and seeing Lego now become a more of a force in the media. They did a Star Wars Adventures one as well that they did with C-3PO and stuff. So you see that they've been involved in this, so maybe it dilutes the pool a little bit. People don't see it as unique, and I also think the trailers don't really show you, oh, this is going to be a new interesting thing. I just think people want to go and enjoy themselves, but I don't think it's going to grab the public's desire as much as the first one did.
I just think, Riley, there's something to be said for a movie that comes out and is a curiosity. We're wondering about it. How in the hell are you going to make a Lego movie and put a real storyline behind it? We were curious. We had no idea what to expect from the Lego movie. And then when the first wave of critical and fan reviews come in, and they're so overwhelmingly positive, saying everything is awesome, more people want to rush out and bank on that curiosity that they initially had. You just don't have that with the movies anymore. It's not a detriment to any of the other movies. It's just that I think we take the Lego movies for granted, that they're They're going to be around. You don't have to rush out and see it like you did the first one. You can catch it anytime. Is that how you see it? And if that is how you see it, is that going to negatively affect the box office?
Well, I think you mentioned in the recap of our Lego movies, I think that's what happened. I think we had the Lego movie, curiosity, marketing, kids, what have you go. Word of mouth spreads. We have a huge, epic Lego movie. Everybody loves it, including me. I loved it. Then you get Lego Batman, which I enjoyed the hell out of. But it didn't do as well, and maybe didn't give the Lego movie fans exactly what they wanted. They maybe wanted outside of the Batman Lego universe. And then you get Ninjago. After a while, I was like, where's this Lego movie, the second Lego movie? I'm getting Ninjago now? Like, I think that audiences are kind of like, we had a lot of Lego movies. I mean, I was noticing covering all this news. We got the Batman movie, then the Lego Ninjago, and I'm like, I kept asking, where is that? Where is the other Lego movie? That thing torched the box office, did so well with critics and fans. I think that they maybe missed that opportunity. I think I would have put it after Lego Batman rather than Ninjago. Maybe that's what these numbers are doing, but I'm hearing a good thing. I actually, somebody put a hint on Twitter that it was really good. I don't even remember who did it, but I remember reading that tweet that if you look closely, you'll know what movie I'm talking about, and he said it's fantastic. So maybe word of mouth will help this, and it opens modestly under the original 50 million. Sure, I think that could be good. I think that's what I'm expecting, and we'll see what the legs are after.
Is it too much just too soon for the Lego movies? Because I think that was initially it. And I don't necessarily think that that's a bad thing that they attempted. Because if you can make that much money, if you're like, okay, let's do a Lego Ninjago movie, let's do the Batman movie and see what happens. But because it has been the law of diminishing returns, it's going to be very interesting to see if this Lego movie can get it back. Something interesting is that I'm fascinated by how they track these things and how they really make measurements in the modern era of how people even purchase movie tickets now. They claim that, this is according to an article in Deadline, is that the demos are showing that the Lego Movie 2 is ahead of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the latest Hotel Transylvania movie, and Ralph Breaks the Internet as far as audience awareness, meaning the audience is aware that this is a movie coming out. That's how studios do their ad buying. But isn't part of that just the fact that people know that the Lego Movie exists because Legos are such a big property, more so than nobody knowing that there is a Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse animated movie coming out, or even Ralph or a Hotel Transylvania? I would put Legos up against all those other properties. Legos versus Spider-Man is one thing, but Legos versus that particular foray into the Spider-Verse, I think the Legos far and away the more popular property. So maybe that's why people know about the movie.
I think that's a fair point. I mean, you have Legos you gift to your kids or to your nieces or your nephews, so the word Lego is in your lexicon all the time.
Over Christmas, I gave him some Batman Legos.
Yeah,
they're fantastic.
I gave my nephews a bunch of Star Wars Legos because he's into building those things now.
Good uncle.
I wanted to buy that Starfighter. I wanted to buy the Starfighter. He's only 7, but I wanted to buy him that 12 for 12 and up Starfighter to see if he could build it, but I didn't buy it.
I don't care how old my nephew gets. I'm buying him the 5 to 8 ones because if he wants me to help him, I can't go higher than that. I can't go higher in the age bracket than that. Look, we are going to make a tiny little Batmobile, and then we're done. Then Uncle Mark's going to go lay on his back and think about drinking whiskey.
You know what? That's a good Christmas joke. Don't knock it. I think that's the one you came up with. That's a good one. You should use that one. Absolutely.
All right, I'll dust it off.
But no, this is so. But you don't have that with Ralph Breaks the Internet. You don't have that with Spider-Man necessarily or Hotel Transylvania. It's not like kids aren't building the Hotel Transylvania set or anything. So that kind of keeps it in the mind of people, and they're aware of it. I think there's the difference there, and that's why.
Reilly, give me the next Lego movie.
You mean after Lego,
after
the second piece?
Lego, the second part. Coster wants it to be called the second piece.
Yes.
But it's not the second part.
I mean, I loved the Lego Batman movie. Give me Lego Batman Part 2. Let's do Lego Justice League.
Lego Justice League. Hell yes.
Lego Justice League Dark.
Yeah, ooh, even better. But I love the Batman character. God, why is his name
Will Arnett.
Will Arnett.
Bruce Wayne.
Yes, thank you. I loved his portrayal of Batman, and then you had, I believe, Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill doing Superman and Green Lantern. Wouldn't that be great?
Galifianakis fantastic as
Galifianakis as Joker. You get the Justice League together. Let's unite them and let's see what that universe is. That would be my pick because it's getting my love of the Lego Batman movie and the humor, but also my love of Justice League and not the movie, but the people. I love my Supes and my my DC comics, so I would love to see that universe there.
Well, at least you will get to see more Batman in Lego Movie
Yes,
2. The second part, when it comes out in February. Quick reminder is that, as I said, this is being broadcast on Monday, which means tomorrow morning, the Oscars are making their nominations known to the public. We're going to know what is nominated, who got snubbed, who is the surprise winner. They're going to have all that and more on For Your Consideration. It's going to be a very special episode that's going to air 9 a.m. tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. They're going to run you through all the major categories, who is going to get nominated, who they think is going to win. Before we leave today, I'm going to get maybe a couple surprise picks from y'all, maybe some predictions, but we will save that for the end of the show in lieu of live Twitter questions. Then I may go on Twitter and find an old question, just because I love live Twitter questions so very much. It's my favorite part of my day, besides sleeping. Our next point is that of Netflix. And Netflix, man, do they love bragging about movies that they have that do well, particularly original content like Bird Box. That's right. In its quarterly earnings report, Netflix mentioned that Bird Box, remember when it did 45 million views in its first week? Well, now it's up to $80 million, 80 million views in its projected fourth week of running on the streaming service. It is an original film commissioned by Netflix, and that was part of their bragging rights, saying that as a result of our success with original content, Netflix, we are becoming less focused on second-run programming. This is in a letter that the company wrote to its investors. They said, we're ready to pay top-of-market prices for second-run content when the studios are willing to sell, but we are also prepared to keep our members ecstatic with our incredible original content if others choose to retain their content for their own services. So this is basically Netflix firing a little shot across everybody's bow, saying, hey, you don't want to sell us your big Marvels, your big DCs, your big Star Warses, your big whatever? We don't care. We're making Bird Boxes over here, and they're crushing. People are loving it. Riley, do you put a lot of stock in these Bird Box numbers? Do you put a lot of faith in the fact that Netflix isn't all that concerned about gathering second-run programming?
It's hard to say about the numbers. We got into a conversation. You and Thad really got into it. I was listening, but I mean, I know that they're showing some of the downloads and showing, some analytics here, but it's really hard to understand it. Maybe it's really hard to take them at the word because they've been so kind of hidden with everything. Because then when you look at the numbers, it's like, how many of that? I know that they're trying to crack down on some password sharing, so you can get those analytics. If somebody shares their password and like 5 people see it through one password, does that count as one? What is that? What is the, are there a ton of people watching the movie? I don't know. I mean, I buy it because I watched it and a lot of people did. So on the surface, yeah, but I'm starting to look at the price increase that Netflix is going to implement very soon. And all these other streamers are going to have their own streaming services. And Disney's going to start pulling their movies off of Netflix. Whoever else start pulling off theirs, so Netflix will have to have more Bird Boxes. So that's fine. I mean, but they're creating original programming, which I enjoy a lot. Bright was, but we're getting a Bright 2. But I wonder if they could get in the superhero genre, or they're going to need something to sustain, because there's going to be a lot of people going towards Disney, going towards whatever other streaming services, Apple, Hulu's already there. I get it. So I don't know. I don't really buy it. I'm not buying their numbers just yet because of their past hidden figures.
See, I will buy the numbers, okay?
That's a nice reference.
But I don't know if Hidden Figures is currently available on Netflix. But I will say this about your point, is that, look, I think that
wasn't it.
If you are saying they need to get in the superhero game, I will say that Netflix was in the superhero game. They were just renting their superheroes.
They're renting their superheroes, yes.
So it's
that's what I mean. Get it away
hard.
From... They don't own the rights to DC. They don't own the rights to Marvel. And obviously, Punisher is going to come out, but I believe 90% is going to be canceled.
Yeah. But here's the thing about that, though, is that so you can look at this and say, well, of course people would rather watch Black Panther and Avengers Infinity War than Bird Box.
Sure.
But people can go see Black Panther and Adventures Infinity War in the theater. And
Yes.
so all of a sudden, Netflix is saying, well, Bird Box is getting more views on our service than any of these other movies. Well, the reason for that is because your service is the only place where they can see something like Bird Box. You can't tell me that if you put an audience in a movie theater and they can either go see Bird Box or Black Panther, that most people are going to Bird Box, because they're not. They're going to see Black Panther. But if you've already seen Black Panther 3 times in the theater, and then you're trolling around Netflix and you say, well, I can watch Black Panther for the 4th time, or you can see something I've never seen before with a star that I'm a fan of, then you might click Bird Box. And I think that is what Netflix is seeing. So in that vein, I don't see that going anywhere though, Rocha, because it doesn't matter what service Black Panther or Justice League or any of these huge properties are available on, because people want to go see them in the movie theater. So all of a sudden, if I've seen Black Panther in the movie theater, am I that inclined to buy the Disney streaming service where I can catch it again? Or do I stick with Netflix, who's going to give me original movies that I don't leave the house to see for the first time?
Yeah, I mean, that's where Netflix is really winning the game, is the variety of entertainment that their service offers. And you know, there's been a bunch of, you can go into a massive deep dive. I went in for an hour and 10 minutes today just reading about all this stuff with Netflix. It's very, very interesting what they've done. And, you know, watching it as a guy who, you know, pays his rent, but he ain't rich like Netflix rich, you know, you look at this stuff and you go, wow, they're so smart to think this far ahead. You know, what would sink other companies is losing that content that from other providers, and go, oh, now what are we going to do? Because we've been just basically like been a server for other people to watch stuff on that other people created. Well, now we're going to create our own stuff, and we're borrowing. Like, they've been borrowing off the junk bond market for quite some time, and investors are not scared off by this, and they think that they've got the right formula in place to absolutely destroy any of the other competitors. I was watching a clip on CNBC, and these business analysts were talking about how Netflix is so much farther ahead than anybody else because of their variety of content, because they're investing in original content and putting the money in. We heard $8 billion last year. It'll be even more this year. And look, it's working because their subscribers in the last quarter, they beat the expectations that they had laid out for their subscribers. So more people subscribed than they had anticipated. So all of that speaks volumes. Now, you look at what they're doing. Like, you look at these numbers, you're like, do I believe these numbers? Well, when these first numbers came out for the 46 million or whatever, Nielsen backed up their numbers, even though Netflix does not, cohabitate with Nielsen, does not support Nielsen in their analysis of their numbers. Nielsen still came out and said, no, they're right. This is 80 million. So then when you think about this, or 46 million, then you think about this, you go, well, if Nielsen approved their first batch of numbers, why would they be lying about their second batch of numbers? I don't know. But then you go, well, really, did 80 million people watch this? So you can go one of two ways with this. Did 80 million people watch this? And like Reilly was referencing, did more than 80 million people watch it because a whole family could watch for one account?
Right.
So maybe there was more than 80 million people watching it. Or do you really believe that more people watched Bird Box than bought a ticket to go see Black Panther in this country? That's mind-blowing. And if that's true, that changes everything.
But isn't that such a different measurement, though?
No, but
because to buy a ticket to see Black Panther, you have to leave your house and you have to go out into the world.
Right. And I'm saying, that how does that change how studios now approach their feature films? Even more so, or even Netflix itself goes, hey, let me look. They got Scorsese coming out. Hey, let me get Michael Bay now. Let me go get all these, Peter Jackson. Let me go get these other people. They'll do their feature films here. We'll pay them out like a fee and then a percentage of whatever views are, and then we'll be set. And all of a sudden, Netflix becomes a studio. I think it's really telling what he said. I forget the Sarandos. What Sarandos said, he said, we're not competing with other streaming services. We're competing with Fortnite. That's mind blowing. If they want to be like you playing 5 hours of video game, they want you to look at Netflix like a video system. You are going on there for 5 hours to spend your night. And it's like, that's mind-blowing to think of TV that way.
And they're competing with YouTube as well, because YouTube and Netflix pretty much do the same thing now, where you finish watching one vid and then you're going to have another vid to watch right after then. Even if you finish whatever series you're watching or you finish the movie, don't worry, there's another train coming and you can just sit in front of the couch, and that's how we all become zombies and some weird foreign government takes over.
Oh my God.
Huh? What were we talking about?
Yeah. They missed the mark last night with that next play. We watched The Village last night. Just revisited The Village.
And how is it? How is The Village? Because I haven't done it yet, but I want to, because I was very disappointed in The Village when I saw it.
I was too.
And
It's a better second watch. I will say that. Because I knew the twist, I was able to enjoy it a lot more to see the little plants that M. Night was doing. I was on an M. Night kick. We did the Unbreakable split, and just The Village was, my fiance loved it. Mm-hmm. I didn't. And she's like, let's rewatch it. It was great. But what came after it, I was like, what in the hell movie? I can't even remember the thing, but it was so far off the mark.
Is it Lady in the Water?
No, it wasn't Lady. No, it wasn't even an M. Night. It was a Spanish movie that was dubbed. So the trailer was them and I was like, what movie is this? I don't turn it. No. So anyways.
I don't want to read.
I don't want to read.
Yeah.
I don't want to read things.
Well, you bring up an interesting point. I know we got to move on to the next topic, but like you bring up an interesting point here. If you read this whole letter that Netflix released to their investors, they've been investing in original content from other countries.
Yes,
that also
that's what
puts
popped
them
up.
way ahead of those other streaming services just getting off the ground. Because also most of those streaming services are still trying to keep their studios afloat on one side and promote their streaming services. So you're asking the audience to split their attention within your own brand.
Yeah.
Very, very dangerous. Netflix doesn't have to worry about that at all. They just have Netflix.
I mean, say what you want about Netflix. They do read the news and they see that the box office measurements are going global as well, and that studios, when they make a movie to be released in theaters, they're not just thinking about how much can we make domestically anymore, how much can we make worldwide. Netflix, by the way, that price raise that's $2 more per month, that applies not just to the United States, but also to Latin American countries who use United States currency. So if you're in one of those countries, just be aware that's what the price change is, and that's for the standard 2 TV format. You guys, and I tell you guys this. So I know somebody. I'm not going to say who it is or how I know them, but it's somebody who is circumstantial to my family. I will say. Okay. This guy is. I didn't know you could still do this. He does not do the Netflix streaming service, but he still has Netflix send the DVDs.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He still does the Netflix DVDs.
They still do that?
You can still do that if you want to.
What?
Yeah.
So
that's
there you go. But I see. Do they? Will they mail you Bird Box? Or is that just streaming?
I can't imagine.
Are they going to see that, like, oh, this guy wants to watch it on DVD? Hang on, let me burn it.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. Send them off to Bird Box.
Let me open QuickTime here and
Jethro Ellis wants to get Bird Box.
The last name is not Ellis. At least I don't think so.
God, that's
be a little weird if it was.
We both grew up in Virginia. We know them, Mark. Know them.
Well, yeah, you're right down the street from this guy. Speaking of Netflix, any of you gentlemen get a chance to check The Punisher out yet?
Yeah, we finished.
How is it so far? Have not seen any of it.
We finished season 2 for a review.
You finished season 2?
Yeah, we did. We got it early. Wow. Me and Dorian and Haley Fouch, and we did a review of the first episode, which dropped this morning on Collider, and then we did our non-spoiler season review last week, and then we'll do a review of the finale spoiler review as well, summing up the whole season. That should be coming out soon, but yeah.
Thank you for your plans. How's the show?
I'm just telling you what. Here's what I'll say to you. If you're looking for the Punisher from the comic books, season 2 will satisfy you. If you're looking for what they did in season 1, season 2 might not satisfy you as much as season 1.
Oh. A little more action is what I'm hearing, Riley.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot more action.
I love season 1.
There's a lot
the
more
psychological study.
Yeah. The last 3 episodes of season 1 is basically the entire season 2. Like, entire season 2 is like that. It's a lot of action, a lot of violence, a lot of him fighting to defend people against a bigger power, which you'll find out.
All right. Well, in NBA Jam, when you get 3 shots in a row, it means you're on fire. And so we just talked about Bird Box, and then we just talked about The Punisher. And so now Netflix, congratulations, you're on fire. Because we got a new trailer for High Flying Bird Box. Just High Flying Bird is the name of the movie, directed by none other than Steven Soderbergh, written by Terrell Alvin McCraney. Film takes place during a fictional pro basketball league's lockout, and it has a sports agent played by Andre Hound trying to pull off a daring move that will wrest control away from the owners and into the hands of the players. Steven Soderbergh tackling pro basketball, the world of professional sports. This movie, it drops February 8th on Netflix. I don't know how long it's going to take to get the DVD of that sent to your house, but you can stream it on February 8th. And look, you have me with a basketball movie. You have me with Steven Soderbergh directing. When I saw the trailer, I liked all the talent involved, and I was interested in the story. My question to both you guys, I know you guys are big sports honks, can you make this movie feel enough like it's a real real professional league to get you invested. Because the thing that always loses me with sports is if it doesn't feel like it's an actual authentic, professional league. It doesn't have to say NFL if I believe it. Like, there's many problems with that any given Sunday.
Oh, God.
But
Oh, yeah.
I still believe it's a professional sports league.
But it's not the NFL.
I'm wondering if you guys see this trailer. Do you buy this league as an NBA?
Wasn't there mention in the trailer of the NBA, or is that did I miss this in the trailer?
Professional basketball.
Just professional basketball. It's just. So we're getting the bit, and it looks a little. I love the trailer. I think Netflix again is, if they're going to continue to compete with the other streaming services, bringing in a Soderbergh, bringing in a Scorsese, these are the right things to do. Creating a Stranger Things as a genre thing for them. These are all things that I'm interested in, and will keep my Netflix subscription. So I enjoy that they're getting this kind of talent behind the camera. I don't know if the non-NBA stuff is going to pull me out of the movie, but I trust Soderbergh, and I like the business side. I like that we're getting some of the power moves behind the scenes in this trailer, at least. And good to see Kyle MacLachlan back with over with Soderbergh from Sex, Lies, and Videotape.
That's a good pull.
Little reunion there.
Well, Rocha, I mean, one could compare Steven Soderbergh to Michael Jordan, maybe not in terms of being the greatest ever, but in terms of retaring multiple times and still being around.
Yes.
Now he's got a new movie coming on Netflix.
Yeah, and finding multiple revenue streams within his life there.
Maybe not quite as profitable as Air Jordan, but I see where you're going.
Or owning a team. That's always possible, too. But Soderbergh's fantastic, and this is a surreal thing for me to look at, because Andre Holland and I went to college together at Florida State. We acted in plays together. Yeah, we did a Hamlet there, which is still legendary. We did a Hamlet. He was Horatio. He was fantastic as Horatio.
Who were you?
I was the ghost of Hamlet and Fortinbras, who comes in at the end.
Nice.
So
Wow.
Andre and I played basketball a few years ago. Whenever he'd come visit, Andre and I would play basketball with our other friend Andre Gordon over here in Burbank. So so it's so insane to see how much his career has blown up, and now he's doing a basketball movie, and seeing him palming the ball, I'm like, I remember being on the court with Andre Holland. So, but I like what this movie overall is trying to say, which is this exploration of, do the owners have too much power, and during a lockout, can we give that power back to the players? Do the players have a right, because they're the workforce? What is their strength to be able to take away the power from the owners and dictate a little bit more about how the product is promoted, played, how the players are respected in terms of the physical wear and tear on their bodies? All this kind of stuff is explored here. I love that line from Bill Duke. Shout out to Bill Duke, still doing movies. Him saying they created a game on top of the game that was already created. You're like, oh man, that's a great way to put it.
That was a good line.
Right? So you're just like, okay, is this going to really... So I hope Soderbergh's writing, his direction is on point here, and I hope the Moonlight writer, Taron Alvin McCraney, I hope his writing is just on point as it was for Moonlight in this film, and so I'm excited to see what this does, and this is definitely one, February 8th. I'll be bird boxing this thing as soon as it drops. I'll be watching it.
Is that what we're going to call it now? When
you're going to put on the blindfold and watch the movie?
You're just going to hear it.
Yeah, that's right.
This movie sounds great.
Andre dribbling a basketball.
Played, I think the biggest news in this story, Reilly, is that Rocha was in Hamlet with Andre. You were the father's ghost?
Yeah, the father's ghost. King,
okay.
Yeah, King Hamlet.
I am thy father's ghost.
Yeah.
Committed to a certain term to walk the... Do you know the rest of that speech?
To be or not to be.
Doomed for a certain
time to walk.
Term to walk the night.
Yeah,
Get there. You were...
That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
All right.
Oh, God.
No, I don't remember.
Now I'm trying to pull the sonnets I learned.
No. It was a long time ago.
I got the first two lines.
I had this massive beard and chainmail, and we had like smoke coming out of it. It was a raked stage. So you had other friend who's an actor, John Hayden. He does a lot of commercials. He was Hamlet, Horatio, and I think my other friend Gary there. And in the back, you see me with this moon drop down. And so it's great little pictures. That was definitely my favorite play I've ever done. It was such a fantastic experience. Yeah, I don't remember the
That's
lines.
great. No,
It's been a while.
I've never been in a play, I don't think. But I'm pretty good. I got Robert Frost stopping by woods on snowy evening.
There it is.
I got that one memorized. Whose woods are these? I think I know. His house in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to see his woods full of snow. One horse might think it queer to stop without a farmhouse there. Yada, yada, yada. I have miles to go before I sleep. We're going to remind you guys that The Witching Hour is hosted by Perry Nemiroff and Haley Fouch. You can catch that every week right here on Collider. We also have Collider Live. That's going to be back on Tuesday. And Collider Sports Time. Collider Sports Time is going to be a big episode when it does drop, because it will be recapping all of the carnage that went down, not just in the AFC and NFC Championship games, but at Buffalo Wild Wings, where some people may be watching the game. Predictions right now, because this is taped on a Friday.
Okay.
Who is taking the games? I got the Rams. You're welcome, and you are faux welcome, because
Yes.
they're your fake team.
It's
and
true.
I think I'm going to take the home team Chiefs to beat the Patriots. Who we got, gents?
I got the Rams and I got the Chiefs, just like you. I think the Chiefs are due because what's that team name again?
The
Patriots.
Matriots.
The Matriots, yeah.
Patriots.
The Patriots. I think that's it.
Red
Anyways,
Sox.
they're due. I think Kansas City, in fact, being at home is only going to help their chances, and they got a light up offense. Rams, I'm choosing them because I love them and I want them to win, but it's going to be tough against New Orleans, especially at home.
All right, John Rocha. Final word goes to you on the football game.
We did a preview of these games, which dropped on Collider Sports yesterday. So we did a live show, so you can watch it there.
Can it ever just be about us talking?
I'm sorry. I'm
Does it
trying
always
to
have
promote
be a
things. I know,
Can
I'm
it ever
sorry.
just be guys hanging out?
You know
talking?
what? Well, put up the postcard of where we're doing Collider Sports Time around the country, Adam.
Not me. I was like, oh, hey,
No. I said I feel like the Chiefs are going to destroy the Patriots. 35 to 10 is not out of the realm of possibility in my
Wow,
feeling. I
okay.
have the feeling.
Oh, wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, as much as the Patriots claim that, the world's against us, the world is really against the Chiefs. No one thinks the Chiefs can do it, even on their own home turf. They won their first playoff game at home in 25 years this past weekend. So that tells you this team is overdue for a victory and it's hungry. And the way they handled the Colts, when everyone thought their defense was going to get shredded, tells you they're focused in. And hopefully Andy Reid has a good game plan for Bill Belichick. I just have a feeling. But with the Rams game, it'll all depend on if they give Jared Goff time. If they don't give Jared Goff time against that D-line from the Saints, then the Rams are done. Cooked. Because Goff, what I saw against Philadelphia, that kid can be rattled easily if you get to him.
Yeah, he's got a
Yeah, whereas Breeze has seen it all.
Did you see Jared Hamon, your favorite, your fellow sports?
He's probably
guy?
the most tolerable Boston sports fan.
He is.
I put him a little bit ahead of JTE. Both good friends of mine. I can do a Haben.
He shared a Wikipedia article on the AFC Championship, and the official description in Wikipedia, at least according to this screenshot, was that the AFC Championship game is a chance for one team to play the the New England Patriots in the AFC Championship every year. So it's like, instead of like a pool of things, it was like a chance for one team to play the Patriots in the AFC Championship.
I can't wait
thought it
till
was fun.
all those shirts disappear 5 years from now when Belichick isn't there and Brady isn't there and they're back to the bottom of the division.
Well,
where are those fans going to be then? You better be wearing your stuff then.
Dynasties must come to an end.
Yeah, well, don't joke, and I know it. Yeah. We're going to do one Twitter question, then we'll call it a day. This is from Ed Harrell, good friend of ours, staying in New York this weekend. Says, hi, guys. If John Wick 3 nails the landing with great reviews, box office, etc., can it be considered amongst the best trilogies of all time, and where might you rank it amongst the best trilogies of all time? And for the sake of this conversation, look, I know that there's been more Indiana Jones than 3 movies. Okay, I know that there hasn't. There's been Star Wars movies and then more Star Wars movies. Let's bundle the trilogy here. I consider the first 3 Indiana Jones a trilogy. I consider the first 3 Lord of the Rings movies, that's a trilogy. The Hobbit's a trilogy. So is John Wick 3 up there for y'all?
That's tough.
That is tough. I don't know. No, you can.
It's tough for me because it's such a small story. It's just the hitman in the city trying to get tracked down. Yes, does he go to Europe in the second film? Absolutely. But the third film is going to be all New York based, unless this and Sahara Desert apparently, or wherever they are in the desert there.
Yeah.
But everything else is going to be New York based. So to me, yes, it can be considered one of the best trilogies, but I don't think it'd be considered up there with the epic trilogies that people talk about, in my opinion. And even with Indiana Jones, because that's such a once-in-a-lifetime type of situation that evoked a period of time. So it gives it an epic feel already. You know what I'm saying? So to me, I wouldn't necessarily put it in the upper echelon, but I would say it's a trilogy that needs to be respected. That's for damn sure.
I would put it ahead of the other Keanu Reeves trilogy for sure. I think the first Matrix was mind-blowingly revolutionary great, but the other two didn't do it for me. Both John Wicks have. So if this one does the same thing, Riley, I'm going the John Wicks, and then I'm going the Matrices.
Yeah, I would do the same. Yeah, if it sticks the landing, and I'm hearing good things too. I'm hearing really, really good things. There was a test screening out there that people were talking on Twitter. So, yeah, if it sticks the landing, hey, the great thing about film, and even talking about film and talking about best trilogies, it's all subjective. If you think it's if this sticks the landing and you're like, damn, that's one of the best trilogies I've seen, put it up there, man. Yeah, it's over The Matrix. I'd agree there. Yeah. If it really does well. I mean, I think right now it's doing, better. I mean, the two John Wick movies are better than the two Matrix Reloaded and Matrix Revolutions.
I agree with that.
I mean, geez.
Yeah, I would give you that all day long.
Yeah, give you that all day long. Matrix, though, is a masterpiece. The original is one of the best. But I'd put it up there. I mean, epic or not. I mean, we have some great trilogies out there. I mean, I think personally one of the best, cover your ears, Rocha, is the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Listen, I don't think the Lord of the Rings trilogy is bad.
No. It's just you're not.
I don't feel the magic everyone else does. Yeah, it's a good trilogy.
Again, subjective. It's like I get it. I wasn't poking at you. I was just like,
what do you got against these hobbits? They're not even putting on shoes and they're walking across.
Now the Hobbit
mountains.
Trilogy, on the other hand, is not a good.
How dare you?
Do another small trilogy that a lot of people don't think of when they think of the great trilogies, and that's the Before Sunset, Before Sunrise, Before Midnight. It's a great trilogy. Some great acting.
Thank you. No, that's a great example. It's a great example because I love those movies. Yeah. Every single movie is brilliant, and I would call that one of the best trilogies ever. Okay. And I would put it with my Star Wars. If I were to make a top 5, or let's say a top 10, because I can't think of all the trilogies right now, but I would put the Before series in the top 10 best trilogies of all time because I think it stacks up. So if that criteria is there for a romantic drama, then yes, John Wick, absolutely. If it hits the third movie and it sticks the landing, it deserves to be in there.
All right, gentlemen. Well, we could do this all day long, but I have a giant new TV to go home and watch The Punisher on. So I will bid everyone adieu for this day of Collider Movie Talk, but not before I get one last Oscar nomination prediction from each one of my panelists. What's something that's going to happen tomorrow morning at the nomination ceremony that might surprise us? So give me something that could be a snub, something that could be a fun surprise, maybe a movie that not everybody's counting in could be nominated for one of the 10 slots for Best Picture. What do y'all got?
All right, I think it on paper, it's not a surprise. A lot of people have been talking about it, but I think it's going to happen finally, and it will be the first superhero movie nominated for Best Picture, and that is Black Panther. I think it's going to happen.
Okay. Mark Reilly saying Black Panther will be nominated. I tend to agree with you. John Rocha, you got a hot take for the Oscars.
I don't know if I have one, but I'm crazy. Green Book will not be nominated for Best Picture.
Hey, that's a great one.
That's certainly a scorching hot take.
I know it won the Golden Globe or something recently, but there's been a lot of backlash towards that movie, especially from the family of the person being portrayed there, Dr. Shirley. So I would not be surprised if the Academy is like, we don't want to touch this thing. Let's move on from it and not and people will go like, I don't want to nominate it. It's certainly possible.
I think it's a shoo-in to get nominated for one of the 10 Best Picture slots. However, I think that another director moves in and knocks Peter Farrelly out.
That's a fair point.
I would say maybe keep your eye on a Barry Jenkins. Sure. I think Alfonso Cuarón, I think he is a shoo-in, should be nominated. Yeah. Not maybe necessarily win, but I think that Farrelly's out, and then I might look at Barry Jenkins getting a slot.
Would it surprise either of you if First Man was nominated for Best Picture?
No. Yes.
It would surprise you, huh?
It would, based on the critical reception.
No. Yeah. I hope it does.
I hope it does too. But Chazelle could take that spot as well.
Chazelle could take that spot. And there's only 5 of them. So we'll see what happens. Once again, For Your Consideration is going to be live tomorrow, 9 a.m., and they're going to recap all of the nominations. The nominations actually come out on the West Coast. It's just absurd. At like 5 in the morning or something like that. I might wake up. Might hit Starbucks, though, is open at 4:30. So I can get my iced tea. I can watch the nominations, and then we'll have a whole lot to talk about it. Not just on FYC, also right here on Collider Movie Talk, where we will see all you guys tomorrow. I bid you adieu for the day. And for you gentlemen, for the weekend, or at least until we reconvene at a local sports pub. John Rocha, where can all the kids follow you?
You follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram. And I guess on Sunday, I will try to
look at your own camera. Look at your own camera.
Oh, sorry. The BW. Is that where it is? Sorry, Adam. I always keep forgetting.
So you've been doing that the whole show?
I'll get there one day.
The whole
I'll get
show.
there
Whole
one
show.
day. The whole show.
All
Okay, well,
right.
we got to retape.
I like it.
Well, there you go.
Good dress rehearsal,
You
gentlemen.
know what?
Good.
This
No,
is-
you know what? You know what? You stay with the theme. Look off camera and tell everybody where they can find you.
All right. You can find me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and Instagram. And you can find me at the BW3, I guess, on Sunday if I can make it out. If the moving goes well, I'll make it out there. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, just remember when you're on the road, straight ahead, not off to the side.
Somebody could have said something, damn it.
I didn't know.
Mark Reilly, we didn't notice it until right now. Mark Reilly, where can all the kids find you?
You can find me at Riley Around on Twitter and Instagram, and the Riley Round Table drops every Thursday, and Rule of Two, moving to every. There it is. Every Tuesday, you can find us there.
All right, gentlemen. My name is Mark Ellis. You can find me at markellislive.com. That's where you can get tickets to my New York stand-up date. It's this week, New York City. I'll see you all at New York Comedy Club in the East Village. That's going to be a great show. And then Saturday is the Schmoedown in Brooklyn. So make sure you guys grab your tickets for Friday night. A lot of Schmoedown luminaries is going to be on hand, and I'll be headlining the whole event. Going to be a good time. See you guys then. Throw it to the wide to say goodbye. We'll catch y'all tomorrow with all of the Oscar nominations recaps right here on Collider Movie Talk.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, Mark Ellis here. Thanks for watching this episode of Collider Movie Talk. You want to watch more? Then click up here, or you can click right here for more great content from Collider. And if you haven't subscribed to Collider Video, do so right now and share this vid with your friends. Thanks for watching.